During the summer, I took on a job as an Amazon delivery driver. At the beginning, it seemed promising, with good pay and all, and I genuinely enjoyed it initially. However, as time passed, the job started to wear on me, and I eventually decided it wasn't the right fit for me. What led to my decision to quit was an unsettling incident that occurred towards the end of my stint as a delivery driver. It all began on a typical weekday morning when I embarked on my shift. My first task was to deliver packages to a neighborhood in one area before moving on to another. This particular neighborhood was quite extensive, with numerous houses requiring deliveries. I spent a solid hour there, meticulously dropping off packages at countless doorsteps. After completing my deliveries in that neighborhood, I proceeded to the next location on my route for the day. The drive to this spot took about 10 to 15 minutes. It was when I merged onto a busier road that I first noticed the car behind me. It was impossible to ignore an eye-catching orange and black car. The front half of the car was bright orange, while the back half was jet black, giving it the appearance of a custom paint job. This car was tailing me closely, barely a car length behind. I couldn't help but think that the driver must be a bit of a maniac. The road had only one lane, so there was no opportunity for the car to pass me. Even when I eventually turned onto a road with two lanes, the car continued to follow closely behind, refusing to overtake. This unusual behavior persisted all the way to the next neighborhood where I was scheduled to make deliveries. As I pulled up to the first street and parked for my first delivery in this new neighborhood, I noticed the orange and black car parking on the side of the road, a fair distance behind me. The situation was becoming increasingly unsettling. I delivered the package, all the while aware of the car's presence. I went on with my deliveries, and at some point, I moved out of sight from the car. I thought maybe I was just being paranoid and tried to focus on my work. Time passed, and I eventually lost sight of the car. Hours went by, and for a while, everything seemed normal. I had almost forgotten about the peculiar car when, later in the day, I spotted it parked by the side of another street. I was now in yet another typical neighborhood making my Amazon deliveries. It struck me as extremely strange to see the same car again. However, this time, it didn't follow me during my deliveries, and I never caught sight of the driver. I continued working through the day, and the final 3 hours were relatively uneventful. Eventually, my shift ended, and I drove the Amazon delivery truck back to the warehouse. I was looking forward to heading home, and I left the warehouse in my car, which was about a 12 minutes drive from my apartment. However, less than a minute into my drive home, my heart sank as I spotted the same orange and black car once more. It couldn't be a coincidence. The car was tailing me closely again. As I neared my apartment complex, my anxiety soared. I was terrified about this car that had been around me for almost the entire day. When it came time to turn into my apartment parking lot, I was in a state of panic. The parking area was quite large with various sections. I drove around, trying to lose the car, but it pulled in not long after I entered. A thought crossed my mind that perhaps the driver lived in the complex, but that didn't make sense. I had never seen this car here before, and the fact that I had encountered it all day was just too bizarre. I decided to take a chance and parked my car as far away from the orange and black car as possible. I proceeded cautiously to my apartment building, fearing the unknown. Fortunately, I managed to enter my apartment safely. Once inside, I rushed to the window, which overlooked a significant portion of the parking lot. I could still see the mysterious car, but I couldn't make out any details of the person inside. I waited, watching intently, but no one emerged from the car. The car remained parked for about 18 minutes before it suddenly reversed and drove away. After that particular day, I never saw it again. To this day, I have no idea who was in that car, why they followed me, or what their intentions were. Something was certainly amiss, but the mystery remains unsolved. Following that unsettling experience, I didn't stay much longer at my job with Amazon.